Welcome to Common Unity. I'm Jason Fox.
And I'm Dr. Gabriel Lewis. And we are bringing the community together with a common unity.
What a ride. Welcome back to Common Unity, episode 20. And this will be the last one for 2022.
It's a lot of twos.
Too many twos to count. More than two twos.
What a ride, a lot of fun.
It's been good, eh?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun learning about a lot of our guests and what they've been challenged with and what their growth points are. And there's definitely got a commonality in play, which has been really cool.
Yeah, it's been a definite theme. Even other people that have podcasts that in some ways may compete with us have said, shit, you guys have had some good guests on there. And so keep coming, good guests. We need you.
Yeah, and if you guys actually have anybody that you'd love to get on, please put it out to us because we'd love to have them. It's all about connections and who you know. And, hey, actually, have you thought about this person? Because you might know something we don't and we'd love to meet them and have a chat.
Yeah, and we know people are listening to this, but we probably get more listens than we do have social media follows. So if easy way to find us is Common Unity Podcast on Instagram, and just DM us in there, slide into the DMs.
Yeah,
love to hear from you.
Okay, just that side. So, what's been happening for you recently?
Quite a lot. So we thought we'd sort of recap what's happened since we started this, right? So, there's a few things we can talk about. As part of my story you heard last time round, I suppose we talked about property, and this is a hot conversation at the moment. I did mention we had a couple of houses in build, and I did the numbers on it today just out of interest, so I could talk about this even off the back of the Kirk Vosper podcast where I got quite passionate. So everyone wants to bag their landlords, and people shouldn't have interest deductibility or whatever, not understanding property. The haves, have-nots. I thought, fuck, let's do the math on this.
Yeah.
Big shift in interest rates. We've got two houses in build, so we haven't been able to lock those interest rates down. I had originally done numbers on these houses at about 4%. So the two homes would have paid me about $14,000 before tax per annum at 4% interest. Now, assuming we're going to lock in about 7% come February when they're due, I'm going to have to top them up $20,000 per annum.
Yeah.
And this is you don't want interest deductibility, or you don't want people to be able to buy homes, but there's a real cost to owning a home.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty expensive savings account to try and find $20,000 a year to house two families.
Yeah. And people think it's a free ride, and you're doing naturally. If you're a landlord, it's free game, but
it's easy. You're lucky.
Yeah.
Well, things come easy to you. Definitely not the case.
Yeah.
And this is a storm that we're going to have to ride.
Yeah.
But in saying that, because of that, scary times too. So you saw that post. You messaged me the other day. Someone had posted and I shared it. The average homeowner, if they bought a house about $800,000, put $20,000 deposit in, it's about a $720,000 loan at 2.69%, which is about a pretty standard rate mid last year.
Yeah.
If they roll off into potentially a 7.5% rate next year, that same mortgage for that family's gone from $3,000 to $5,000 a month.
Yeah.
So that's some pretty daunting numbers. So if you're out there and you've got a fixed mortgage and you've got a whole lot of Netflix subscriptions, or maybe you've got some cars and boats and some buy now, pay laters and all that other stuff, now's the time to really be knuckling down and getting that stuff gone, because no one wants to see you fail. We want to see everyone succeed. Yeah. But that's going to cause some pain shortly for a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely. I've because I see a lot of people, I'm already, and you will be as well, I talk to a lot of people, and I know some people are already under the pinch directly because they've had a rental property and their broker at the time suggested to get the deal over the line, fixed for a year. They fixed for a year, and now things are coming up and times are very challenging for them already. So, you don't want them going higher. But it's just a matter of those things. So just getting rid of debt is so important.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a house debt, well, in time you're going to win on it. But it's very different to a buy now, pay later. The Keeping the Change podcast, I listened to that a bit. I'll plug them. Luke was talking the other day. I think there's 600,000 users of buy now, pay later type schemes in NZ, and they're at 10% arrears.
Wow.
10% of that's 60,000 Kiwis aren't paying their buy now, pay laters on time. So if you can't afford it today, what makes you assume you're going to be able to afford it tomorrow? Oh, I don't quite have $200 to buy my favourite pair of Nikes this month. Maybe I'll just pay $50, but then your pet dies or your car breaks down, something happens. Like, buy that stuff with cash, people.
Yeah.
Buy it with cash. Don't want to start this doom and gloom, but just want to be real to our listeners that are listening to best prepare everyone because we want to see you succeed. So off the back of this, if you can get yourself clean, maybe you're a first home buyer, there are going to be people, unfortunately, that will potentially lose their shirt off their back, and there's going to be things come to market that are pennies on the dollar. So if you're in the right position, man, is there going to be a lot of opportunity to make some money. Greed and fear drives markets, but everyone buys on the wrong side of the market. As things are going up, it's a good time to sell. Things are coming down, it's a good time to buy. So,
It's always going to be like in the Kirk Vosper podcast, it's not going to be an issue for anybody if they just hold on to everything and just kind of ride out the waves. And even chatting to some of my clients that have been in the mount and bought 30 years ago, and they're like, every 10 years it doubles. Yeah, it's just continuing as long as you're not going to sell and that. So it doesn't need to be as scary as what it may seem. But yeah, just as long as you got a plan and organise and not getting like thrown off by the curveballs.
Yeah, 100%. You'll only ever lose money on the day of sale, but you still just need to ensure that you can cover whatever debts you've got that are non-negotiables.
Definitely.
Keep an eye out for those ones.
Well, it's one of those things that kind of links into kind of people's mental health as well.
Just finished up the Movember campaign.
Yeah.
Thanks to the supporters.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, Gabz doesn't look the same without his moustache. He's actually had a bit of a crush on him, but now
My wife's got much more of a crush on me now. She hated it. I have to admit, I did not enjoy it in the last few days. It felt like I had ants in it tickling my upper lip.
you are allowed to wash your face.
I do, daily, but still.
Just sitting there with a kombucha moustache.
Just good. It was just itching away at my upper lip.
Yeah. So not a bad effort. Again, the financial side, I think, of NZ found this the hardest out of the last 3 years to raise money. I came in at 2,100. I think our group was about 5,500. So close to half of our targets.
Yeah.
It's all good. So anyone who contributed, really fucking appreciate your legends.
Yeah, big time too. Like it was, I definitely found it was a little bit challenging fundraising, which is understandable. But look, it's more money that they didn't have for a great cause.
And it's not even about the money, it's about starting a conversation.
Yeah.
So if we want to go back to the mental health thing, we've unfortunately heard of a few incidents in the last few weeks, even during Movember, a month where you should reach out to someone. Or reach out, if you're in a bad place, have a conversation with someone. Yeah. The whole thing is about starting up that conversation. And, this is what we need to be doing. Just because Movember's over
doesn't mean it needs to stop.
No. The next 12 months could be really important.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard from a mate that you normally hear from 2, 3, 4 times a week, maybe it's just Snapchats and they're gone quiet on it. Just reach out to them. Just check in. Make sure they're okay.
Yeah. Especially considering like financial pressure, relationship pressure, health issues, they're huge triggers. Huge triggers. So that's why it's really important to be prepared, knowing that things are going to be a little bit challenging, just in general. Like say, for example, my ute went from $88 to fill religiously per week to $198 per week to fill. There's a huge difference. So, and then to absorb that on certain aspects will be very challenging for some.
There was never a world where I thought diesel would be dearer than petrol.
Yeah, and plus it's got diesel case on top.
That's why.
Yeah.
It's stripped out. It shouldn't be. But we're just going to double hit you. And this is old Grant Robinson on the news the other day. I think we've got on top of inflation, but a big part of actually the inflation rates is actually fuel and ruck. And that's heavily discounted with their 30 cents off, which is about to slam back on there. So their inflation rates are bullshit as well.
Yeah, it's like in the States when, well, apparently in the States as well, they were talking about and keeping it quite quiet, and the government knew it was happening and they chose not to talk about it until they couldn't deny it anymore.
As in the inflation, you mean? Or?
Yeah. Back in the day. So, I've listened to certain podcasts and they say, history repeats itself, you know?
Yeah, if you're not sure, listen to Ray Dalio, Principles. Probably the best thing you can read over this time, because everything that's happened has happened hundreds of times over the years, maybe hundreds of times, multiple times. Every sort of 80 years or something, history repeats itself time and time again.
Yeah.
So we're going through this, but yeah, good book. Listen to that.
Yeah.
Listen to that.
So it's about also putting things back into your control. So you're back in the driver's seat. So from a financial position, a mental health aspect, okay? Physical health is just as important for a mental health aspect too. It's a huge, huge factor for everybody's health. All these little relationships, even open a conversation to anybody, you know, it's about people coming together, and doesn't matter what differences they have in this time at all, but just respecting everybody. It's not about you versus me, it's us, you know? And that's what I find that people need to actually realize, like everybody from New Zealand actually really needs to realize, like, it's about us together and not you versus me. Just because you might have a very differencing opinion to me doesn't mean that we can't get along and not have a conversation. Like, I actually hate it when I've got friends that actually just agree with me.
Yeah. If somebody agrees with everything you ever say, they're blowing smoke up your ass.
Yeah.
They're not doing you a favour.
Yeah.
A good friend actually calls you out on your bullshit.
I like to go, oh, actually, I've never thought it from that perspective. Love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah. And so that's it. It's okay.
Yeah.
You know, James said it well.
Yeah.
That's what's wrong with the world. You can disagree with one thing, but agree with the next thing the same person says. That's called a conversation.
Yeah. It's so simple. It's so simple.
Yeah.
It's so simple. And you just even with having these conversations, it makes you realize how interesting. Well, I always think people are interesting, but people that you think that you might not have a connection with or have an understanding with, you have a conversation and boom.
Yeah, so much similar or whatever it might be. Or.
And it's because it's not at surface level conversation. Have those deep level conversations, because guess what? That naturally fuels your mental health. You're like, holy moly, there's a connection I didn't realize I knew I needed.
Yeah,
you know,
I've said it to Anna, doing this podcast makes it feel like I'm doing a counselling session every fortnight.
Yeah.
Like I'm just become a person overall and learning from everyone, learning from all of you.
Yeah.
All the guests, thank you.
Yeah, and vice versa. I absolutely love it too. And I've naturally seen your growth too, which is
200 push-ups a day, baby.
And not just in the pectoralis major.
Doctor.
But it was just in all aspects. So I commend you on it. It's really cool to see.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
It's good for all of us, isn't it? It's just it's been a hell of a journey.
Yeah, it's awesome. So so you started a new kind of venture.
Yeah, there's a couple of things I'm up to.
Yeah.
A little bit of what we're just talking about, the mental health, the struggling. I've talked about in other podcasts before, where customers have come in and they're distraught and they're upset because they haven't done something right in their business. It got too much for me sitting here and having these conversations almost. I was like, there's got to be an easier way. So I hope I've created this easier way for my companies, my customers, and created a company called Profitable Pathways, which is ready to go. I've got a couple of customers already that want to be onboarded, so they've already reached out.
Excellent.
So we just got the goal is Nick Fennell's made a wicked video for me, so hopefully that will be signed off tomorrow. I'm catching up with them tomorrow, and then I'll start advertising it properly. But
Excellent.
there's been whispers out there on social media and different things, and people know about it. You would have heard of it, me talking about it with Blake Noble. But yeah, so Profitable Pathways was born out of the frustration of people struggling with their own accounting, books, all the stuff that nobody ever teaches you. You know, if you want to reference Andrew Tate and the Matrix type lifestyle, and if you actually look back, there was a good article recently on schools got created after government. Mm-hmm. So schools were created after government came in because government then needed workers. So they created schools so they could form workers to take roles. And what do they do in schools still to this day? You must wear this uniform. Every day, pull your socks up, do this, so that when you get into your job, you're going to wear your uniform. You're going to be...
Rockefeller did not want people thinking for themselves.
No, they wanted you to fall into line and do as you're told and show up and make them heaps.
Yep.
And it stands true today. Teachers are not teaching you financial literacy. They're not teaching you that if you could buy a house here and sell it there, you might make $100,000. They're telling you if you show up and you're dependable, you're going to get a good job, and one day you can retire and the government may give you some money back that you've actually saved up yourself through KiwiSaver.
Yep.
So coming back to Profitable Pathways, fantastic. Transport operators are some of the hardest workers out there when it comes to time. 70 hours a week, 14 hours a day. Some of these guys are doing 15,000 kilometres a month in one truck. Double shifted, they're hitting 300,000 kilometres a year. Double shifted, sorry. Huge numbers. In doing that, you do not have time to sit down at the end of the month and compare your fuel bill to the previous month. You do not understand whether the cost of servicing your truck's really gone up. You just see an invoice come through. You don't know whether your tyres are changed. So all of a sudden you go, hey, my cash flow is getting eaten away here, but I'm working just as hard. Mm-hmm. And they don't see that their business is diminishing just through inflation or whatever it might be. Yeah. Or maybe it's that their truck's getting older and the R&M's costing them. They don't understand this stuff and they're not taught it, and they probably don't actually want to know it. All they want to do is have a fucking sick-looking truck, honk that horn, jump on the CB and say, yeah, the boys, roger that, 10-4, and hit the highway. Yeah. So Profitable Pathways has been born to do this for them correctly. Yeah. There's plenty of bookkeepers out there, there's plenty of accountants out there, but none of them are really specialists. If they are a specialist, I'd love to hear from you because we can probably work together. But I've got quite a lot of support. I've already had lunch with Transporting New Zealand and other big operators and stuff, and everyone's all in my corner like this is exactly what the industry needs. Yeah. And through this financial education of me running the books over time, give me 2-3 years, I should hold more data on transport, assuming I can onboard enough clients. I should hold more data than probably anyone else because I'll see all my clients in real time. I should be able to tell you the logging trucks 18 cents for a unit per tyre, but a highway truck's at 12 cents or whatever it might be. Mm-hmm. And I'll really be able to break these things down, and then when it comes to actually pricing jobs, we'll be able to really help our clients with all that stuff. So the idea is just, we want you to drive your trucks. Yep. A big frustration I've had is having like husband and wives bickering or relationships falling apart because mum was at home doing the books and husband was going to drive the trucks, and then, I just found out the ruck there's not enough money for road users, or we haven't been paying our tax for the last 12 months or whatever it might be. Yeah. That shouldn't even be a question. Yeah. Just leave it with us. Yeah. I might cost you $800 a month, but your wife might earn $5,000 a month down at the Foursquare. Now your family's in a far better position. She's got some work stories to come home and tell you about, some more purpose in the day. You've got more money for your family. You can have some holidays. Like, these are all the things I want to fix.
And then it's not, you're not getting into issues.
Yeah, there's you don't need to bicker about it. You don't need to understand it. You're not expected to understand it. You're a fucking hard worker. Go drive your trucks. Yeah. Want to put more trucks on? Fantastic. We'll support you all the way through. Yeah. And in time, Profitable Pathways will grow to the plan is that I want to start you in business, then I want to retire you out the back end. Because I've got my real estate license, I can sell your businesses. We can help you with exit planning and getting systems in place. But the low-hanging fruit right now, and especially going into the next 12 months, we just got to get these people understanding the numbers. So with that, I say I do bookkeeping, but what else am I doing on that bookkeeping? We'll be paying your taxes as we go, so there's no surprise at the end of the year. We'll be telling you, hey, let's put 30 cents in the dollar, whatever it might be, aside for your R&M, because, you might not need it now, but good chance in 8 months you might blow an engine. Happens all the time. It's not a surprise. Engines blow. It's a real thing.
But I know that.
We've probably all blown an engine. Not all in trucks, hopefully. Actually, one of my best clients, just late model truck, messaged me today. Truck just dropped a liner. So now he's off the road for a few weeks, and that's a brand new truck still under warranty.
Yeah.
Not a brand new truck, but a modern truck still under warranty. So these things happen. So now he's got time off the road. So helping these guys, ensuring there's money there for these rainy days is very important.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on the other side of that is what you don't see in the later years is when they're actually paying thousands and thousands of dollars a month in thousands in R&M, which is repairs and maintenance for those that don't know what that stands for. A lot of the time they'd be better off just paying the repayment on a newer truck with the warranty. They've got a newer asset on the balance sheet. They've got more equity in the business, and that's part of it, but then they don't have the time off the road. You got a truck that blows an engine, you could be off the road for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Then next couple of months, it breaks a cross member and it needs some engineering, and you can't get an engineer to sign off on the LT400. That could be another 2 weeks. Whereas your new truck, especially your first year or two, touch wood, should just go pretty faultlessly, should just fly through. So it's that time off the road that costs people more than the repairs a lot of the time. So that's what Profitable Pathways is about. We just want to hold the hand, do it properly, do it well, and in turn actually make the industry a more profitable and enjoyable area. Industry to be in.
Sometimes the best ideas are kind of formulated from simple issues. You're just fixing your issue or a problem, and you're like, actually, I've got a solution to that. Let's sort that out. And it's often that simple.
Well, that's every pretty much good business fixes a problem, or does the solution to that problem a little bit better than the previous person.
Yeah.
And I've got some pretty cool people in our corner to get this company off the ground, and I'm open to speak to anyone. I'm not saying I know everything. I've got a lot of experience in the industry. Let's just fucking go. We're here to help people.
Yeah, excellent.
So that's exciting. So that's Profitable Pathways. And then we've got another program called Action Membership that I'm working alongside Robin Olivier. And we've got a meeting tomorrow. I think we've got 13 or 14 people coming to that one tomorrow. So that's kind of, I don't want to bag B&I or Chamber of Commerce events and stuff like that. They're great from a networking perspective and getting your name out there and meeting some new people. The issue I've always had with these events is that's all it is. It's a lot of the time you meet some people at face level, or they might become good friends and you share some leads and you get some business from it. That's fantastic. But what doesn't happen with any of that time, and I'll pick on B&I, sorry guys, and I've got a lot of friends in it, don't mean to pick on you, but B&I, you sit in a room for an hour and a half and you get 60 seconds to do an elevator pitch to that room, and you sit down again and you get about 30 seconds towards the end of it to give some reps and referrals, which is more for the visitors so they hear how much business has been done in the room, and then maybe they want to join your chapter. Mm-hmm. So it's an hour and a half a week for 90 seconds. I'm not sure if that's time well spent. What we've got in Action Membership is basically business coaching. But what I like about it, because Profitable Pathways have been born off the back of me joining this program. I've got a problem and it's fucking live. Xero's hooked up, CRM's hooked up, website I built myself, spoken to multiple people, bookkeepers are in place, accountants are in place, everything's ready to go. And I think that's truly there, and it's been built over the last 2 months off the back of doing Action Membership alongside Robin. Mm-hmm. So in doing that, what we've gained is in business, if you are a CEO of a Fortune 500 company or a publicly listed company, whatever it might be, you have a board of directors sit around you. And you go, oh, we're going to do this with the business, or I'm going to do that for the business. And that board of directors holds you accountable. If you're an employer, you have staff and you hold all of them accountable. But as the average Kiwi owner, or Kiwi owner, business owner, Kiwi business owner, or anywhere in the world, self-employed, whatever it might be, you go, yeah, these are my goals. I'm going to do this. Mm-hmm. And then you go and play golf. Well, that's what I did for a long time. Mm-hmm. Okay, shit, sun's out. Thought my car wasn't getting groomed today. I would have gone playing golf still. But it's because I'm on top of my list. I'm on top of my list. But, it's all too easy to do. You just, I know that's where I want to get to, but what are the steps? So in Action membership, what you get is you get put into a group of 4 people that are trusted, non-competing industry people. And that becomes like your board of directors, essentially. And you catch up every fortnight, or it can be weekly, but we've been trialling it fortnightly and finding that's enough. We sit down every fortnight and we go, well, what would you like to get off your chest? And we have a discussion around stuff that we're struggling with and actually open the conversation up. Have you spoken to this guy? Or I've been through that before. Maybe this is how you could help your business. Really get problems out. And that's, what's said in those groups isn't said to anyone else. That stuff stays in that group. And then we also go, right, well, what are your 3 big goals? What are you going to knock off in the next fortnight before we catch up? And man, fuck, you don't want to be the only person in the room the next fortnight who hasn't done any of them, if not all of them. Mm-hmm. So you're just like, oh shit, yeah, I said I'd do those things. So you feel accountable, even though it's no pressure, you're not going to lose your job or anything. But
it's still that ownership.
Yeah, you don't want to be that one person that's not doing it.
Yeah.
And if you are, and you're like, oh man, you guys are so lucky, you're so successful, everything comes easy to you. It's just because they went and did the shit.
It's that simple. It's just that self-belief and backing.
Yeah.
Just that consistency and chipping away at the goals, and before you know it, you're going to knock out huge goals that were seemingly unattainable at the start, but just consistently showing up.
Yeah, it's just show up every day, 1% better, all the rest of it. But it's all too easy to go, New Year's resolutions. Pretty much all New Year's resolutions are done by February. But if you've got that group of people sitting behind you, keeping you going. So like tomorrow, no one would have known this because it's only me and Robin have discussed it, but tomorrow we're doing a big goal setting session. So it's probably going to be an hour and a half on actually setting people's goals out. So when they come into it next year, every fortnight, it'll be like, cool, don't just give me 3 goals like you'd like to ring your mother because you haven't spoken to her in a month, something like that. This is where you said you want to be at the end of the next year. Now we're going to break it down to quarterly. And that's your fortnightly goals are going to be the baby steps to get you to that big.
Excellent.
So for me, it's up there, profitable pathways, 50 business customers by the 31st, 11th, 23. Should have made that the 12th because I haven't done too much about it. Which is 4.16 customers per month, which is just over 1 a week. Doesn't seem that difficult, does it?
No.
But when I break that back down and actually start working on this, because my goal setting session will be all about profitable pathways tomorrow, not so much the finance side because that business is going well. I'll really have a clear track on where I'm heading next year. So if anyone sounds like this is something that they need in their life, you're self-employed, maybe you own a company and you've got some high-level managers, I'd love to hear from you. Again, DM me, Profitable Pathways. It's Jason Fox, Common Unity Podcast. I'm everywhere these days. There's probably an Action membership one coming too. But yeah, look, what's that saying by Zig Ziglar? It's a fantastic one.
I don't know.
What's it saying? You can have anything you want in life as long as you give enough people everything that they want.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. I'll probably butchered it, but
it's about achieving other people's goals and getting them to succeed.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
And everything, the rest comes. Too many people chase the money. If you're in it for the money, it's the wrong thing.
Yeah.
But enjoy the journey. We've spoken about it heaps of times.
On here, you just go towards getting people to reach their goals, and straight away, anything you could want and more will be there. It's just the law of attraction. It's that simple.
And it's the whole scarcity versus abundance.
Yeah.
Abundance, I know they're taking from me. Oh, I know there's not enough to go around.
People need to realise as well that there is way more. Like if that person is healthy, if you're healthy, guess what? Instead of being like, oh, lucky you, me feeling hard done by, guess what I should be going? I am so inspired that you made the choice to go and get fit and healthy. Guess what? I'm going to do that too. Tell me some stuff you did. Tell me some steps you took to make. Okay, ask the question. Guess what? They're so keen to help you. Actually, I thought I'd change up this diet, this one little thing. Then all of a sudden, I felt a little bit better. And then I changed this other little thing. Then I felt a little bit better. And because I felt better there, I felt like moving my body a little bit more. I felt like moving a little bit more. I felt like saving more money. I felt like having more open conversations with my partner and my wife. You know, it's a whole pile of different things just from those little consistencies, those little 1%ers.
Yeah, health is wealth. So what's worked for me in the last 3 to 4 months? Fucking push-ups. You know, and Gabz is my chiropractor. Every time I went and saw him, I was like, mate, can you put my shoulder back in? And now he doesn't put my shoulder back in. And that was spurred off of you are who you surround yourself with, and of those people who we've spoken about on this podcast a lot, and you've probably heard about the push-ups in many a podcast. To this day, we're still doing 200 a day. I have not had a day off push-ups in over 3 months. My wife's like, oh my God, you got the shoulders and your arms are big. Like when I first met you, like she's excited. I'm excited because she's excited.
How excited? Yeah. Nah, I'm joking. I'm joking. We needed the button for that one. That was a Gabriel joke.
That's Gab's new favourite button. So yeah, but it was the accountability.
Yeah.
It's the
showing up.
Shit, someone's done 40 push-ups, or like you get to 9 o'clock and someone hasn't done the push-ups. Man, do we lay into them on the group because it's banter and it's the boys. But it's like, shit, man, why do you leave it so? Why are you making it so hard on yourself? But from that, about 3-4 guys, one of them has gone 3 months without drinking. He was a quite large drinker. Because you got to remember, business people are out lunch almost every day. So if you go out for lunch, it's just natural to go have a beer or a wine, or when you go to a restaurant, it's kind of a thing that happens. So drinking becomes a big part of the culture. So to give up for guys like that are sometimes at a restaurant 3 times a day, it's quite an achievement.
It's a huge one.
Yeah, and I did the Movember dry. Got a huge love for Peroni Zeros now. Had some drinks on Friday night, but then Saturday went to another Christmas do. I just took Zeros. Loved it.
Yeah.
So yeah, changing those habits is being super healthy. But the game changer was doing that liver detox.
Yeah.
I lost 5 kgs in 9 days, kind of fluctuating between 1 over. So kind of put a bit on when I started eating meats and a bit of chocolate and stuff like that again. But yeah, 5 just fell off in 9 days. Fantastic. So that's going to be part of our annual ritual now.
Yep.
Coming into every summer, let's just do the detox. But what we're realising, like even today, I woke up 6 o'clock, had things to do, tired, couldn't be bothered getting out of bed. Still ate really clean yesterday. Salad for lunch, had steak, mashed potatoes and asparagus for dinner. Not overly bad. 1 row of chocolate, no alcohol. Woke up this morning, like, fuck, give me another hour's sleep. When I was almost juice, salad, vegetables, some kumara for carb, no meat, I was waking up at like 5 o'clock, like, let's go. Even the push-ups were like, man, that was easy.
Yeah.
The energy.
Yeah. It's just a matter about figuring out what's right for you. Like, I feel absolutely phenomenal when I'm just like fruit and meat.
Yeah.
I feel like a machine. Whereas, and then the odd salad bits and pieces, but certain foods don't agree with me, even though they're healthy. But it's just about, and everybody's different. What one person will say is absolutely perfect for them. I want to go vegan. I want to go all meat. I do better with carbs. Everybody's different. Yeah. Everybody's different.
So it's just it's been a year of learning because I'm 40 next year. I'm not young, not a spring chicken.
Moly. I wouldn't have thought you were like a day over 31.
Where's my wallet paper now? So yeah, I know all those push-ups. But yeah, look, it's you never fucking know everything. I thought I look back and go, oh yeah, no, when I was leaving college, I thought I was so big and getting my first cars, and I'm like, shit, I was just a boy. And then when I was like 25 and got married for the first time. I felt so big and grown up and shit. I was just a boy.
Oh, yeah. Even now, us looking back at ourselves now, we're like, man, we're just boys, you know?
Yeah, me looking back at 38-year-old Jason like a year ago, shit, I was just a boy.
Yeah.
Like the amount of growth in the last 12 months. All I can say is listen to Common Unity. Podcasts are important.
Yeah, they are. They actually really are. I'm listening to them. I've listened to, obviously, all of ours. I listened to so many, and I was really happy, like, on that list of the Spotify. I was Common Unity for us was number 4 on our list, and I've listened to the whole lot. But I've listened to hours upon hours of podcasts. I just constantly listening to them because you're constantly growing and developing. And I know for a fact the person I am today will be completely different to the person I am next year. You know, I will be completely another evolved version of myself, like so much so that my mum called me up today asking for advice on this, how to approach this certain situation. I know for a fact 5 years ago that would not have happened.
Yeah, you weren't the person for the answer.
Yeah.
And even listening to the podcast, my number 1 listen podcast was actually Keeping the Change, which is one of New Zealand's most listened to podcasts. But I disagree with a lot of what Luke says, especially around property. Mm-hmm. They've got it so wrong, in my opinion. But I still really enjoy his podcast and the majority of his views. And I'm not like I'm just going to axe the guy. So keep that in mind, people. Whoever it is you listen to,
have an open palate.
Yeah.
It's so important. I think it's actually good to actually see the other side, and especially considering like in the last few years, New Zealand has been very divided, and not through individually. It's been a little bit of a social experiment as well.
100%.
So it's important to make sure that it's not me versus you, it's us, okay? And just looking at the same thing from different perspectives. It is so incredibly important. And it's the same thing with regards to, say, you're walking on the street, like say, and it's got somebody homeless, and then it might have me, okay? We've just had different opportunities and positions in life. At one point, I may have turned down that side, and then guess what? It's having that kind of humility and going, actually, look, it's nobody should be feeling more empowered because somebody's lack or without. It should be like, oh man, you know?
It's an interesting one when you're saying like the way you turned.
Yeah.
That led to maybe a situation. And Grant Cardone talks about it in one of his books quite well, and the fact of like, if you drive through an intersection and someone crashes into the side of your car, you've got some ownership in that because you chose to hop in your car at that time. You chose to go down that specific road. 100% that person might have run a red light or something, but you still got yourself in that journey that got you to that situation at the time.
Extreme ownership.
And that's an extreme thing. Like clearly we don't want to go out there and get an accident, but fuck, if your ice cream melts because you're standing in the sun, stand in the shade next time.
Some things are more the probability of things happening. I prefer to eat gelato. Thanks, Jen and Daniele, for your delicious gelato.
From a cup so it doesn't drip on my fingers.
Hey, you know it.
You can use it as a cup afterwards.
Excellent.
So anyway, we're solving the problems tonight. We're solving the problems. What about you, Gabz? What's happening in your life, mate?
I've just my wife's been a full-time mum. Full-time mum for the past 7 years, and she saw this premise. Not my mum, my wife. Did I say mum or wife? My wife.
The woman of your life.
So she's been a full-time mum for the last 7 years, and so she saw a premise, and we've just been navigating getting that space open for her. So she's a chiropractor as well.
Awesome.
And so I've been working hard, and I enjoy keeping my hands busy, and I'm very creative. And my wife showed me this concept of a reception desk that she wanted, and I thought about it and I was like, how about I make it? Because I also thought about the price and concept that I'd get for actually getting it fabricated. It was probably going to be around anywhere from 10 to 20 grand for the style she was after. And I was like, you know what, I can make that very comfortably. So I've always wanted a welder, so I bought myself a welder, and it's been very fun creating that along all the other bits and pieces.
So you're telling me that after you run your business and your staff and click people's backs and everything, you don't go home and watch Netflix? You're actually doing something else?
Yeah, I go into my shed.
Fuck, Jesus.
And my wife often has to tell me, especially in the weekend, she gives me a curfew when I have to get out. So I'm a bad boy though. I often don't listen to it.
I've seen the bad boy photo. He's looking very Magic Mike under that car.
Hey, watch out.
We've heard about his dancing career. We're waiting for the next mail.
I'm retired.
Yeah.
So, and then I'm looking into a similar aspect for you as well, like with regards to profitable pathways. But what I'm noticing is a lot of people can't afford preventative healthcare.
Okay.
And it's one of those things that's very, very important. It's people don't actually understand the benefit to it until they've experienced it and experienced it in their entirety.
I'm one of them.
Yeah, and then when they do, they're like, whoa, because they often think pain-based, okay? So, and they don't realize how good their body should be feeling compared to how it currently is feeling. So what I am looking into is actually creating something for people who, and I'm finding more and more people are having a bit of a challenge affording it. And so I'm looking into working into something so I can alleviate that and make a big shift, not only at a community level, but hopefully potentially it going to a national kind of model eventually. But it's basically people helping people where they can grow the healthcare of the individual. And naturally, if you grow the community's health, guess what? You don't overload the healthcare system. Wow. You know, it's a simple concept.
It is,
but it's one that's not done.
Yeah. Is this like a barter? Like you swap, give me some fruit and veggies, and I'll do this, or is it more of a charity, or what are you thinking?
It's a little bit more of a charity, but it's got the other aspect there too. But yeah, I'll work in the details and see if I can make it happen and across the line. So I'm working the finer details at the moment, but I'm very, very, very excited for it. And it's been actually something that I've been wanting to do for years. And I've been trying to figure out how to do it for years because I've tried certain areas and they haven't been successful, and I couldn't do what I'm currently doing and keep it sustainable. But I've figured out
too much has got to give.
Yeah, so I've figured out how I can do that and help and keep it sustainable. Yeah, so it's a win-win for everybody. So, and it's the reason why I got into chiropractic was to help people. Yeah. Like I don't actually really enjoy business. Like I like business, but I actually really like helping people. I'm good at business. I don't really care for it, if you get what I mean. So I'm just doing what I enjoy, but it gives me the opportunity to do more of it as well. So I'm looking forward to it.
Do you know a few people? Obviously, you've got Ryan with Sendint and stuff, but is there you got some other people that have been in charities that you can lean on for information? And
yeah, we've got a huge, large network, and I have some. It's not quite a charity, but slightly different, but. I've talked to some specialists in the field, and I said, hey, can I do this? And they're like, yes, absolutely. And I was like, yes. So it's pretty cool. So they'll be in the background. But yeah, I don't want to talk about it until I can make it happen and go from there. Yeah. Excellent.
That's amazing.
But it's very exciting. So then it's just like personal stuff, just kind of taking the moments because I'm often quite busy and just spending time with my kids and family and enjoying the little things and communicating with them and watching them grow and just focusing on the things that's easily in control, because it's very easy to read things and look at things and understand the background things and how the connections are and get kind of, oh, that's not right, and worked up about it, but just kind of putting myself in the driver's seat, just in general, and I think it's very important to do.
Yeah, love that. Now, the audience keeps messaging me asking, has Gabz finally got his black belt yet?
No. No,
that was a question for myself.
So, no, I'm a brown belt. So I've the jiu-jitsu as well, for me, it's been on the back burner. So, which has been fine, because I see myself doing that until I'm 70 odd and 80. I actually never see myself not doing it. So it's not a matter of if, guys. It's a matter of when. Yep. But at the moment, I'm not investing as much time as I want to or need to in order to achieve that right now. But that's okay.
I think we should rewind back to the wellness tent. Should we tell people where it is and situated, and maybe that could be of a lot of use and when it's likely to be open? Because I know you've had a few hold-ups like everyone in recent times. But
yeah, so it was meant to be open by the 1st of August, but it's been a lot of hold-ups with council and everything else like that. And so it's looking like it's going to be in January.
Okay.
Which is quite exciting. It's pretty soon. We've done a lot of the background work, and everything's quite ready to go from our sorts of lines, but it's in Te Puna.
Yep.
It's quite a different little practice, and the tagline is health from a different perspective. Looking at the same puzzle, the same picture, but just a different way.
Yep.
And I think it's important to kind of note as well. So it's not saying, oh, you've got to see this person in order to be healthy. It's just, this is the way that we do it. So the space is really simple. It's little. It's a den. It's open. It's family focused. My wife likes to focus on pregnancy and pediatric.
Sure.
Which is cool. And it's a great little space, and I'm very excited to see what will develop from there. It's got a very big need out those ways.
There can't be anything in Mokoroa, surely. So you're servicing Mokoroa.
It's just got one other team which we know in Mokoroa, which is great. Yeah, one, but they're only there certain periods of time. Nothing in Te Puna, no longer anything in Bethlehem. So you're servicing a very, very large area. And even myself, like I've got clients coming from Waihi to the Mount to come and see me. So now when they need more care and they can't make that quite a long distance, they can go see my wife in Te Puna, which is great.
And they get to stop and have something at Nourish, which is quite a good little cafe.
Exactly. It's this great little area that's getting kind of developed, actually. Yeah. It's got a really cool energy there. So it's got the GP is there, Te Puna doctors, and they do a great job. They're phenomenal doctors there. And then it's got the chemist beside them. Then it's got Abby with the wellness stand. Then it's got dentist. Then it'll have a little hairdresser as well. And then it's got another the physiotherapist, Casey Clinic. If you want to go and look in building a house, it's got GJ Gardeners as well, and then it's got some clothes in the calf as well. Yeah. So it's got a lot in that little hub.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Not just here to talk to you on this podcast, but fucking saving people all around the Bay of Plenty.
I just like people. I actually just like seeing people perform at their best. It's that simple. Like whether it's mindset or stuff. And the amount of times that I send people podcasts and they're often not even our one, right? It's most of the time it's not. And it's because they need to hear that at this certain time. Let's share that with them. Let's share this. And I just want to see people doing really well.
Yeah, I was listening to another podcast earlier, and they had some great, similar kind of chat where they were like, if I see a 70 kg guy deadlifting 300 kgs, I'm like, fuck, man, how'd you get to that? That's incredible.
Yeah.
Good on you. That's, wow, you're so strong. Not like steroids. Yeah. Because that's the easy one.
Yeah.
But good on you. Wow, you've been training for 4 years. All that hard work's really paid off.
Consistency.
Yeah, and whatever that may be, your business or anything, overnight success. or their overnight success.
Yeah.
They're always 5-10 years of business before the overnight success happens.
Yeah.
It's just no one knew of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so true. And I can tell you now, it's nothing I've done has been an overnight success personally. A lot of people might realise and they say, man, you achieve so much. But yeah, I do take on big goals and big tasks. But A, I enjoy the process. And B, I just chip away at big goals. And guess what? We always achieve it because we just chip. It's just like studying for a test. Like, I hate study. But guess what? You do it enough and you just get to the goal, you know?
I just had to do 2 hours of verifiable training to hold my real estate license that I'm not currently utilising today.
Yeah.
So I've got to do 20 hours before the end of December, which I left to the last minute, but fuck me. It's painful. And that shit's not on Audible or Spotify. Like, how am I supposed to listen to it by reading? So yeah, studying's not for me. We'll learn through other ways.
Yeah, well, everybody needs to learn how they study. Like, a flying fish isn't judged on how it climbs trees, you know?
Because it would always feel stupid if that's how it was judged.
Yeah, and that's what comes down to Ray's Everest kind of podcast as well, the schooling system. And just a lot about what we talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. I think we've kind of covered everything. Is there anything else we need to cover off, do you think?
No, I'm pretty happy. I'd just like to say thank you to everybody who's been supporting us and sharing, and the feedback that we've received has been nothing short of phenomenal. Yeah. So I'm really, really happy, and we'll aim to kind of bring greater guests, and not greater guests, just more guests that just keep bringing. And even if this is the one thing, a lot of people feel like they need to be like this big, amazing person to have a conversation. But I want anybody, and just sit down and have conversations, because you'll realize that you'll have a common unity with that person in some aspect if you talk enough.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'd just like to thank Gabz for always being the nice guy and thanking everyone that comes on the podcast, because I don't get a chance, but he thanks everyone and he's thanking you, the listener, too. I am thinking it. I just don't need to repeat myself all the time, all right?
No, so, and thank you as well for making this fun. It's quite cool. A lot of the feedback's been like, you guys are from very different perspectives, but similar perspective, and I love how the fact that you're more business minded, and then I focus a little bit more on the mindset side, because it's kind of where you've gotten with yourself to where you are, and I've got
the mindset's super important to me, but we just tend to
we just go on the different roads and ask the different things, but you'll see commonality. Obviously, I've got to focus on the business side as well. You know, it's just like even just this week or last week, we sat down in our business and redid our budget, and it shifted 60 grand per year. So you've got to do those business things, or else you're flying blind. So yeah, it's very, very important.
Yeah. So thanks to all of you. It wouldn't be a podcast without you. Please continue to share it so that it can grow. The more it grows, the more people that will hear it, the more people will be able to bring on it, because they'll know people potentially that we can't reach. And also it'll make it easier for us to get out of Tauranga, which we haven't done yet, but it's coming. It's getting close. And actually sends people in other cities, because it's not that we just want to see people from the Bay of Plenty. We want to see people right across New Zealand, Australasia, and probably further. But this is the steps that get you there.
Yeah, just slowly chipping away, and we just want to help growth of New Zealand, Tauranga, and further. Yeah. So
if you've got a cool story, or you know someone with a cool story, again, DMs, find us, hit us up. Love to hear from you. If no one's listening to this, we'll listen to ourselves and we'll go, fuck, you sounded incredible, Gabz.
Yeah, great job. Our two listens. If you're our third, thank you.
We'll continue making them for you anyway.
Yeah, we will.
All right. Well, we're coming into the Christmas, so we're going to try and get some people if they're over here in the break, but we're going to enjoy some time with our families and our friends, and I haven't played any golf. I'm very white. So you'll see me on the course from now on in.
Excellent.
All right. Thank you, Gabz. Thanks for coming in.
And thanks, bro.
And thanks, listeners.
Awesome.